Hey, Rebel Rouser. I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. So, we're talking Forces of Destiny Season 2 this week, and today we're looking at episodes 3 and 4, Shuttle Shock and Jyn's Trade, and adding a little bit of additional insight and depth and analysis to the episodes, giving it a little additional context, if you will. Shuttle Shock is the first episode that we've gotten that is Last Jedi era, which is kind of funny to say because, of course, Last Jedi took place mere moments after The Force Awakens. So it's not the first sequel era one that we've had, but the first Last Jedi related one. It features Rose and Finn and BB-8 on their approach to Cantonica in that Resistance pod. And it gives a little bit of insight into why Finn happened to be the one piloting it and why a crash landing might have been in the cards for them in this case, because there are a bunch of crazy rainbow jellyfish-like creatures that are in the atmosphere of Cantonica, and as they are on approach, they get swiped by a tentacle of one of these creatures, and it manages to short circuit some of the things in the ship, including BB-8, who is plugged in to one of the terminals there. And so Finn actually has to take the controls of the shuttle while Rose tries to get BB-8 back online because he is, shocked away from the terminal, rolls across the cockpit, bangs into a wall and goes and slumps out. And so the episode actually reminds one a little bit of Finding Nemo and Nemo's attempt to get through the giant field of jellyfish because there are tons of them. And ultimately, once Rose gets BB-8 back online, BB-8 is able to steer the ship out of the cloud of jellyfish and into a place where they can safely make their approach to Cantonica. As far as these episodes go, this one's a pretty light one. There's, nothing of major import, though. Like I said, it possibly gives you a little bit of context as to why their resistance pod was crashed on the beach on Cantonica and why it was that Finn was piloting it. So there you go, a little bit of additional information. As far as Jyn's Trade goes, well, this takes place during the Rebel Rising period, the novel by Beth Revis, and before her incarceration on Wobani. Now, it actually takes place on Ord Mantell, and a few of the episodes in Season 2 of Forces of Destiny take place on Ord Mantell, which is kind of interesting in its own right. That planet goes all the way back to The Empire Strikes Back, and Han's infamous line in there, well, that bounty hunter we ran into on Ord Mantell changed my mind, right? Well, this is the planet, and in this episode, we see a Chadra fanboy, and this is also not the same Chadra fanboy that we saw in Season 1 of Forces of Destiny. That episode took place on the planet Garel and featured Sabine in that one. So this is apparently another Chadra fan character, and also, just for a side note, there was a Chadra fan in the Dreamers, which was a rebel cell that was infiltrated by Inferno Squad in the novel Battlefront 2 Inferno Squad. Just, throwing it out there. Anyway, a little Chadra fanboy is refused food by a fruit vendor, and Jyn is walking around with her Kyber crystal necklace out. And the vendor says, oh, you could buy a lot more stuff if you just use that. And she's like, no way. But apparently the Chatterfan kid was listening in and steals her necklace from her. So she has to chase the creature down, get it back, and realizes that the creature is just hungry. So she gives the Chatterfan kid the fruit that she had bought with 1 credit herself. So a lovely little story showing that Jyn isn't just a cold and brutal mercenary, that she actually has a heart and is willing to take care of little folks, which, we also got to see in Season 1 of Forces of Destiny as well. And this is one of those episodes where Felicity Jones had done the voice of Jyn Erso in Season 1 of Forces of Destiny, but she's unfortunately not back for it. But Helen Sadler does a perfectly fine job of doing Jyn Erso's voice for this episode. So there you go. It's Shuttle Shock and Jyn's Trade, episodes 3 and 4 from Season 2 of Forces of Destiny. Then that does it for this episode 2, with the exception of something extra that we'll do over on the audio version of the podcast at sw7x7.com/iTunes or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. We'll do Last Jedi trivia there, but for here and for now, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.